Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Ramblemancy. Even though that's not what it says on the stream label. But
Oh
anyway,
no.
hello and welcome. Tonight we are joined by several of the cast of In Too Deep. So hi everybody. Welcome to the show.
Howdy.
So yeah, before we get into whatever it is tonight's episode is going to be, I've got a couple of announcements, and as per usual, I am remembering them as I speak. So let's go. So, tomorrow night on this very channel at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we are continuing, maybe finishing our Borderlands 2 playthrough. We'll see how that goes. Although if any of the previous like the last two are any indication, that's definitely not going to happen. It's not going to finish tomorrow.
Yeah, we will 100% hyper focus on a random side quest and then get into a 20-minute okay, so which one of them
all in the name of leveling Freeman up so that he can catch up with us so we can do like the last thing, but then all of us except for Freeman benefit from it. So
Incredible.
It's
all for entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just a months long Minnesota goodbye to Borderlands 2 streams.
Correct. So that's what tomorrow is going to be, and starting a week from tomorrow, on Saturday evenings, I will be fulfilling the Mass Effect playthrough, starting with where else would I start? With the first Mass Effect. Not sure who's gonna join us who's gonna join me for that one to like hang out with me, but we'll figure it out and we'll let you know at some point next week. I'm seeing lots of people giving me significant looks, and I'm going to change the subject now. So anyway,
If Luke and I both joined you, though, that would be chaos.
Oh god.
It's very funny because you have a lot of Mass Effect and like knowledge. I have none. So I feel
That
like
would be hilarious.
I've never played Mass Effect games, but I beat Mass Effect 1 recently. I need to start playing 2, but I've been consumed by Destiny recently. So.
all right, what's on the list?
Edgefit says start with 3 but work backwards. We'll join us for our Memento playthrough of Mass Effect.
No.
Anyway,
Lose skill points as you go.
Just get worse at things. Just get worse as
That's
we go.
not how you're supposed to live life.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like that's how most of my life
That's
has
like
gone, so.
Gifted Child 101. Damn.
I mean, what is Commander Shepard if not the quintessential gifted child? So,
You know.
Oh, shit.
anyway, we're off to a great start. I'm not even through the announcements yet. We're already well off the rails.
Everybody shut up. Shut up.
I actually don't think that I have. I actually don't think there are more.
Lucas, let Lucas talk.
Listen, as someone,
I said it would take 15 minutes to get off the rails.
No,
I mean, we were right on the dot.
Have you ever watched this show, Colin? Yeah. I don't think I have any other announcements other than a relevant one. In Too Deep. There will be no In Too Deep this coming week, as somebody had to be out of town.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So there will not be an episode of In Too Deep this week. Instead, there will not be an episode. So yeah, I don't have any other announcements. I don't think. I think that's pretty much everything.
All right.
How you made it through it?
I did. It's because there were 2 of them, and it took the amount of time for me to get through those 2 that it takes me to get through many more than that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
That's what happens when we steal Ramblemancy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
everybody, welcome to
Yeah.
RambleDeep MancyHeist. Let's go.
That's a great name. It
Yeah.
is. It's good. That's good.
That's honestly, full disclosure, that's why we were late going live, is because I was trying to figure out what combination of words would be best used for the title. So that, just so you know, that's why we were 5 minutes late to starting the stream. So
So good. It's so good.
Speaking of which, to those arrayed present, what is your favorite permutation or array or play on Waterdeep Dragon Heist
Deep,
thus
deep,
far?
deep, deep, deep.
I think
Strong
someone
contender.
someone said wet shallow lizard mugging one time, and it lives
That one,
rent
yeah,
free
that was
in
a
my
good one.
brain.
Does that live in the same place as horrible little man?
Okay, wait a
Yes.
minute.
Yeah.
Please, I was thinking about that today. I was
Oh
I
no!
was
Yesterday I was thinking about, yeah, I'm a whole ass elf.
yeah, I'm a whole ass elf. No, there's something going on with a customer today, and I could not call them this. It was not a man, but the first thing that came to my head was, what a horrible little man.
That's
I don't
amazing.
know why it's
I'm
funny.
glad I've made that much of an impact on your everyday life.
Oh, God.
It was so fucking funny.
Oh my god!
I don't know why.
So
Everyone's
Uh,
favorite.
for
part.
every-
But yeah, what wet shallow lizard fucking I hate that.
Yep, someone said that, I think, in the Discord. Oh,
it was that seems like either a Rose thing or an Edge of Fit thing.
Mhm.
I can look it
agree.
up. Hold on.
I'm sure
I
Edge
think
of
it was like a
Fit,
series
who-
of things that slowly just devolved into that.
Asia Fit kills me.
Asia
especially
Fit,
the-
can we make some
Mhm, mhm.
promotion
Yeah.
for Asia Fit? Because like, oh, I've seen it in chat, and
It was a
it's-
Rose thing.
It was a Rose. I thought it was a Rose thing, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh
man.
my gosh. For everything that you've seen thus far tonight on this show, that's why it's not labeled, and like I chose the just chatting label instead of the usual talk shows and podcasts label, because I feel like that promotes a certain amount of like it implies that there's a certain amount of like structure to
Structure,
what's
yeah.
happening.
There's a certain
You
number
don't
of
think I can't
rails
be
on the
professional?
track.
It's
and
not
there's
that I
just
don't
none.
think you can. It's that I know we won't be.
We refuse consciously.
Yeah.
We are
I-
conscientious
Liv,
objectors.
I know
Nothing
you are
shows
capable
violence.
of anything, including choosing intentionally not to be professional.
Choosing violence.
choosing
Choosing
violence.
violence.
Also very
I have
capable of
cause for
ordering
violence
nugs on stream.
purpose.
That's my
Yes.
I
that's still my-
am very
that is
capable.
still my favorite thing that has happened on Into Team.
In the middle of it, I was like, I'm gonna get chicken nuggets.
I remember tabbing over to
Oh.
Twitter and seeing you tweet that, and I was like, wait, I know what stream you're on.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know until
Thought
you were getting
after
up
the fact.
to get them. That's when I figured out what was happening.
And it's so funny because like I'm much more comfortable about it on Into Deep for some reason. I think it's because Draco eats Cheez-Its all the time. And it just like really helps me and my anxieties. But
Wow. Throwing Draco under the bus when they're not even here to like
Draco, when you were rating like on Wednesday, Draco was like, all right, every time we wipe, I'm gonna like take a sip of alcohol. I'm like, you are gonna be dead by the oracles. Like,
I love her so much. I'm pretty sure Draco has a Cheez-It emote. So like
Yes.
it's part of their brand. That's
in her
fine.
Discord, her
Nice.
role is Cheez-It Queen, I think.
yeah, that's incredible.
Love. I love Dracu so much.
I love Draco more than life
Ooh,
itself.
legend.
Oh my god.
But yeah, but I'm a firm believer in we don't eat or show feet for free. So but it is a heist, so I guess that's what you get. But I would never eat chicken nuggets on any other show on stream. I hate eating on camera.
That is a compliment.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's high praise indeed.
This feels like
honestly
home.
though, I have too much anxiety for that.
Yeah, no, I also try to hide it. I don't know. We're not gonna talk about the social.
I don't like eating on stream, but I have to eat when I eat. Otherwise, I don't eat, which makes
You
no
don't
sense.
remember
but-
to eat though, beloved. You
Yes,
don't.
that's the thing is I can only force my body to eat when it wants to eat, and sometimes that's on stream, and
Mhm.
everyone, including me, has to deal with that.
I've generally, it's interesting because I generally choose not to eat on stream, but I'm always like, whenever I'm like tuning into somebody's stream and they're eating on stream, I'm always like weirdly comforted by it. So like, I don't know.
There is a non-zero number of times that the food I ate on In Too Deep was my first meal of the day.
There's like, there's in part a practical reason that I don't eat very much on streams. Like, I think I probably would more, but like, it's just because I have a colostomy. Like, there's a certain reality to the speed at which food goes through me. And so like, I have to make sure that like I can sit through most of the stream without having to get up to go to the bathroom several times.
That's fair. I think for me, it's not okay. So this is actually becoming an issue in my everyday life, which for food, not so much, but like I burn through drinks like crazy. Like I will just, if it's a liquid near me, I will finish it as soon as I possibly can. Like I used to like walk across the street to like my local Starbucks, pick up like a venti drink, then walk 1 block to my job at the movie theater, and I would be done by the time I was there. Like a whole venti cup. So like I'm one of those people that like as long as I have water next to me, I can drink gallons of water all day. Which is a problem when it comes to alcohol because I will just go. It's no problem.
Weirdly,
meanwhile, like I always forget to drink anything. Like I'll have my morning coffee and then I'll get to like stream time. I'll be like, I don't think I've had any water today.
I can't
like,
have any
absolutely
meal
no
without
water.
having a drink with it. I don't know what it is. I despise like eating a meal without having something.
It's dry.
It's
That's
just
how my
water.
God wanted it.
It might have something to do with the fact that I took Accutane for when my acne was horrible, and then just that dried out everything, and I don't think I've ever recovered since. But
yeah, well, it's interesting, Liv, because like what you're talking about, like drinking stuff. Like for me, like having like something to that's my nervous tick. So if I'm in a social situation where I'm like a little bit socially anxious, that's like.
Lucas just sitting in the corner like, oh, hey everybody,
it's because
I spilled everywhere.
I need to be doing something with my hands, and it also provides like a really good excuse to not respond when I cannot think of words.
I
drink to avoid talking. I know that.
My thing is like I fidget with anything in front of me. Like if you put a paper towel in front of me, that paper towel will be in pieces in like an hour. Like I just like
we have argued about this.
Stuff. Oh yeah, I like
this part of the pen. Is Colin's
I've broken so many of those.
I stepped on this one a while ago. So it's...
a heathen, a agent of devil work and evilness brought into this world. I fucking hate that more than anything.
Well, what I do, like I have a bunch of different colored gel pens that I use in my schedule, and so I will take those and I will unscrew the top almost all the way, like until it's coming off, and then I'll screw it back in.
I take things apart with them. I take things apart all the time.
Back when I was in school, the thing that I used to do is I would get like pens like this, and then I would take them completely apart, including like taking out all of the springs and little gears, and then I would make like just a little like shortest to tallest thing out of them, and then the kid next to me would kick my desk and it'd go everywhere. I'd be sad. Like,
you know what? I guess like for me it was doodling. Like in class and everything, I'd always be doodling something because it helped me focus. My proudest moment is when I called out this asshole in class because he was just being mean to the teacher. I was like, can you please just like shut up so we can get through this lesson? And I guess he was like, well, she's always doodling. Like, why does she never get in trouble? And she's like, because her grades are good.
Period.
Also,
I was like, oh,
I had that.
Shit.
I had that in my high school AP chemistry class, but I would be sleeping through the whole thing. And in a meeting with my mom, the teacher went, well, it should be a concern, but also, you know, she's doing really well. So it'll just keep that in mind for if the grades start going down. That's probably why. But I mean, one of the best. I like chemistry a lot.
Alternatively, when I would sit through chemistry class, I would get into REM cycle. Like I would fall asleep and be dreaming and snoring. like like
Fully sane.
asleep, like just head back, like mouth wide open, swaying back and forth because I'm sitting and I'm asleep. My teacher used to throw Nerf balls at me and I would not wake up, so I failed chemistry.
No.
Alternatively, I used to doodle on stream all the time because it helped me concentrate and focus, and then I realized that it was just this all the time in the camera, so I had to break that habit.
Taking
I
apart
just
my
like
phone
create
case.
geometric shapes and like patterns. That's what I do if I doodle. Like I don't actually doodle anything like I don't doodle a scene or anything because I'm horrible at art. I can do geometric patterns though.
Which is kind of funny because like I draw a lot, but like I can't drawing the way that I usually do takes so much focus that I can't. That's not
you
a
can't,
doodle.
like minimalist drawing is not your thing.
Yeah, no, it's literally like squiggles and like shapes and just nothing.
For me, it was always just like the adventures of like a zillion little stick people like doing things on top of my notes. Like that was my favorite one. Like the classic of like just a whole bunch of little paratroopers down the margin, like diving off from the
I love
like
that.
skydiving off from the headline of it. Like that.
Did you ever do like slow like the slow like when you get the sticky pad and then you do like a stop motion and you just like flip it and they're just moving around? Yep, I love that a lot.
It would honestly help me because I would remember what notes were next to what particular stick figure I had drawn. And the best part about that is that research supports doodling.
I was just gonna say we actually like talk about that. I took a cognitive psychology class in college and it like helped me remember stuff for tests. Like I would write down like the color of the professor's tie or like what color shirt they were wearing, and like when you take tests in that room, I'd look around and be like, remember shit.
For me, my best thing was always if I had a test the next day I needed to study, or if I was in theater, if I had like lines to memorize, I'd like do like a solid hour of it right before I went to bed. And then I fall asleep with it in my mind, and I just wake up like, I memorized my lines now.
See, that's how I gave myself stress dreams.
Yeah, that's me.
I had the most insane way of learning lines when I was in theater, and I actually freaked myself out one time because I was cleaning out my notebook. So I, for one of my theater classes, had to perform like a whole soliloquy or whatever that was about this lesbian, this like asexual lesbian essentially,
Lovely.
breaking down and basically being
less lovely.
Yeah, basically being like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and people have never liked me, and I haven't liked people, and it just like sometimes I'm unhappy, but then sometimes I realize I really don't care, I really don't give a fuck. It's actually a very interesting speech, and basically kind of talking about of like, I don't need romance to make myself happy in life, even though part of me really wants to be in love. Very interesting soliloquy. The way I learn lines is by I have to write, like that sort of like kinetic movement helps me. So I had a whole notebook of me just writing down the lines over and over and over again to learn them. But then years later, as I'm cleaning stuff up, I'm reading all this depressing shit and I'm like, what was wrong with me? Like I couldn't remember that it was for
amazing.
That's not crazy. That's a crazy way of memorization at all. Like,
I would
remember notes if I wrote them down by hand a lot better as well.
Yeah,
I read my own.
You said
notes.
that, and like legitimately, that is how like we had to do like in college we had to do like a short. Like sort of abridged performance of Henry IV Part 1, one of those. And like legitimately that is exactly how I learned my lines, is I had to write them down. That is that like I definitely do the same thing. It's super helpful for me.
But just imagine like finding a note, like completely forgetting about it, finding a notebook and being like, what mental breakdown was I going through this week?
How many times have I threatened murder against my subjects? But when I study, I read out loud to myself in a fun voice or an accent. So there was one time I was in the common room of my college dorm because I didn't want to wake up my roommate, just sitting there just doing Calc 3, like x squared plus, and just talking the whole time in this German accent. And then someone comes out and talks to me, and my first instinct is to go, yes, hello, in this clearly fake accent. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just studying. And I was like, so I was just like,
Iconic.
x squared minus, yes, hello. And I sounded like a goddamn podcaster.
My life was being in like high school and shit, being very, very like being pretty damn good at like math up until calculus, at which point like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
in my math classes, I was in remedial math like basically my whole life, and I could not. I feel so bad for my trig teacher because I was in her class. I was in every study hall, every single free period I had. I was in her class trying to understand trigonometry because I just could not get it. I got a 46 on the state test. I got an 80 in the class though because I did like all of the corrections.
Nice.
So I didn't have to go to summer school, but. Yeah, no, did not. I remember I spent 20 minutes on one problem.
It's funny that so in high school and the likes, English, despise the class constantly, least favorite class. I think I just mainly despise the professors and the way that they're like fucking, it's like, oh, you gotta write in this MLA format, and they're like, you didn't do this shit, like this is the way you're supposed to write. And I'm like, oh. And I'm just like, I write well. I know I write well. And then I go. It's funny because now my career is like, yeah, I want to be a writer for tabletop RPGs. And that was my most despised subject in everything in public school.
Yeah, but TTRPGs, you gotta quote that in MLA.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to write.
You don't,
I mean,
you don't
you
write.
do
You
have to write a specific
You don't do your
way.
GM notes
There's
in
a
MLA
style
format.
guide,
Like...
but you can apply the style guide afterwards, and you have an editor for that. So.
Imagine your GM notes have
editor.
the bibliography.
Yeah,
I want to meet that person.
Colin
who does that.
For running games, I don't know if I guess I didn't tell you this, but for running games on Rule of Lore as a GM, you need to provide me all of your GM notes in Chicago format, Chicago style.
I actually write all of my notes because it's so ingrained in me. I write in MLA format in the sense of like I do always do double spaced Times New Roman 12-point font because it's what my eyes can read the easiest.
Oh, Colin, I've never wanted to give you a hug and tell you everything is okay. It's gonna be okay more than I do right now.
I've never been more free than after like being friends with Caitlin and working with Caitlin on Rule of Lore documents, and Caitlin just going, "We're using sans serif fonts now," and I'm like, "This is so much nicer on my eyes."
Love that.
A little bit of like sometimes I get in the mood to write stuff because most of the time my brain is like burring too fast for me to make words happen on a page. But when I do, I actually do write in Comic Sans because it just makes it easier to read.
It's jokes aside, it's not a bad font.
I mean, that's specifically why it exists.
Font.
That is
Yeah,
specifically why it exists.
It was designed, I think, to help people with dyslexia read, right?
I think
There is
for
a dyslexic
comics.
font.
Like Cole
There's
said,
a dyslexic font.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
It's like more bottom heavy so that it's harder to flip the letters around.
Okay.
yeah,
One time my mom this was years ago, and like there wasn't like, oh, just import your contacts. Like you had to put them all back in.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom gave me her phone to put in her contacts. And I put all the phone numbers in, just not right.
No.
Oh no.
Literally,
It's
like
not even the slightest.
when I go to read a number, like I have to like cover up, like, okay, 7, 1, like I can't.
I low-key feel like my current job, where I deal with a lot of really big numbers, is starting to do that to me. Because I will sit here and be like, okay, so your total is going to be 15,800. No, 1,500. Wait, no. I just can't fucking do it. But I've always struggled with like reading numbers out loud. Like I can read them in my head and that's fine and I get it and it computes. But like it took me, I kid you not, maybe 20 years to realize like, oh, when people say 1500, they're really saying 1500. Like it took me so long for like to get that. So I don't.
Yeah,
I despise when there are multiple zeros in a row. I just when there are more than 2 zeros in a row, I despise it because, for example, one of my student IDs for my university has like 4. The very end of it is just 4 zeros.
Yes.
And I'm like, how many zeros is this?
I was okay.
I write the right amount of zeros.
When you started talking, I was like, really? That's interesting. But then you said student ID, and I was like, no, you're absolutely correct. I'm right there with you. I hate it.
3 or more zeros becomes hard to read.
Yes.
Or maybe it's just more than 3 at that point.
You would absolutely hate the zip codes where I live.
Zeros.
Spoiler alert. I mean, it's not. It doesn't bother me that much, but like, because there's a shit ton of zip codes. For some reason, I live in DC. So many zip codes, and all of them are either 2000 and something, like 2005, so 2005 at the end, or like 2007. But then there's some of them that are like 212, 220, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this? It's very confusing. And then all of the like ones in the surrounding area, like Virginia, are like 220024. I'm like, that's actually probably not even right. I'm probably putting in too many numbers. It's just, I hate it here. Yeah. What's the point?
I was
you survived winter though.
I loved winter. I actually have thoroughly enjoyed my first winter. Seasonal depression, that's the one I don't got, shockingly enough.
Hey!
Hey! You made it.
I prefer winter because I get to wear my big, nice coats.
I like the cold.
It makes me look bigger.
I'm so torn because I like being cozy and I like wearing all my sweaters and all my layers, but also my feet hurt.
Yeah.
My fingers get so fucking cold. Like
that
was my extremities, my fingers and feet get really cold really easy, and then they just stay cold.
Some of my
like piercings in your ears, and you walk around outside, and they just get so cold.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I have to cover my ears in this cold wind because otherwise it starts to hurt.
Some of my best college experiences came from walking around with my roommate for hours in the winter. I am just in the cold. We'd be having a conversation, and eventually he'd be like, we should probably head back. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I am cold.
No, like outside. Listen, quarantine was rough and 2020 was hard, but I didn't have to drive in the snow, and I'm okay with that.
Hey, that's nice.
Okay with that.
I had to pick up groceries one time. I was in a Monster of the Week session. My mom could not pick up her groceries. I had to do it for her. So I switched to Discord on my phone. I said, all right, don't make me roll dice. I have my character sheet memorized. So if I need to roll dice, someone else can roll for me. But for the most part, I'm probably going to be listening because it was a scene that my character wasn't in. And so I got groceries. As I was sitting there in the parking lot, it started snowing.
Oh, no.
So I had to then drive home after it started snowing. And so while my friend's character and that character's boyfriend are having this like scene of like, this guy is like going back home to Ferry possibly, and they're discussing like how their relationship is going to survive that. I'm listening. I'm driving in the snow. I pull out of the grocery store and fully fished-tail.
Oh my God.
I was fine. I was fine. I was just like, okay. Everything's okay. Cause like the roads got icy. I'm in a fucking like Subaru. I'm in a big car and I fishtail and I was like, cool. And so I finished driving home. I told that story I forgot I was muted on my mic so they didn't hear me. I told that story about a month later and they all went, fucking what?
Do you not get snow a lot?
We do. I tried to take the turn as slow as possible, but it was just a full 90-degree turn and it just like,
sometimes I'm bad at be.
Yeah. It was just like, if I had known it was snowing, if my mom had known it was snowing, we wouldn't have, gotten our groceries ordered for then. but it started snowing. And so I was like, I have to get home, right? And so I ended up just making that turn as slow as I could, and it was not slow enough. As I just
Not nearly as dramatic, but one time I was running. This is so bad. It'll make us laugh. One time I was running a Monster of the Week game because there was a period of time where I like ran them like really early in the morning because it was the only time everybody could do it, and I was on a Discord call, and it was while I was dealing with like the breakup, my last like big breakup from like my last long-term relationship. And like a day or two before, I'd been texting my ex, and he was like, yeah, like if you can just like drop my stuff off, like that'd be great. And I'll be like, yeah, whatever, I'll like come over at like 9 a.m, whatever, like I know you have work. And I forgot that I was running my Monster of the Week game, and we were going for hours, and I was like, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm just gonna hop on, like put my headphones in on my Discord, like on phone, while I'm driving, like we'll talk, we'll do this, like I'll run the game while I'm driving, but just give me like half an hour to deal with my ex-boyfriend. And they were like, okay. So I drove I'm running the game. I'm driving from like through California, just blah 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 blah, and then I'm like, okay, I have to go deal with this. You don't just drop things off to your ex. You truly don't. So it ends up being like this whole thing. We end up fighting, and I'm end up crying. And I come back, I'm like, okay, guys, so you guys are hunting the monster of the lake, and just give me a second.
I love you so much. That's commitment to that game.
No, seriously, like I'm here thinking to myself, wow, I cannot in good conscience call myself an accomplished GM when fucking living a day over here ran a whole ass game while driving and dealing with X thing. Like,
so why is Monster of the Week the game that gets played while driving in this group, apparently?
We're just channeling the supernatural.
Wow.
But it ended up being okay because like one of my best friends in the world, best friends in the world, was in that game, and she's like, okay, let's talk. And then like we all broke down and talked. And those people are still some of my best friends. So Steph, Kai, Lexi, mwah, love y'all. But that was also like very early of us becoming friends.
The GM of that game I saw in chat earlier, and same with the one who was whose boyfriend was returning to Fairy. They were both
nice.
They were both in the chat at least earlier.
Aww, hey,
so
fam.
Hi, if you remember that story. Yeah, that happened. I almost died.
Also, please don't DM and drive. I feel like that's not safe driving.
I tell you that. That's very much
we here
no
at
way.
Rule of Lore do not endorse. Oh my god. That's a wild story. Damn, Liv.
Up in Buffalo, we didn't DM during a snowstorm, but we did drive to Chili's, and there was like 2 feet of snow on the roads, not plowed. And we drove like a really old, I don't know, the ugly Ford Taurus that you see, the shit brown, falling apart car. Yeah, we drove that.
Right.
We all piled in the car.
A
and
tank.
All right, Liv, I have a question since I know you're in theater. You brought up like Chili's. So after a show, was there always a specific restaurant you went to? Like after the finale of the show.
The finale of the show.
The final show of
the final show,
the run
after party.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing, like
There she is.
Oh, hello.
Yep, Homadach. She's still here.
So I did not have like theater high school. My high school, fun fact, was actually too broke to have a theater department. We did not have it in the budget. So I never got to experience the Denny's thing. I did go to Denny's as a high school student with my cheer squad, #triggered. And that was like
for us it was IHOP.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're a football player. Hey, Dusty.
It was the
At
for
one
the
point,
musical
it was-
crew. It was always one of the rich kids' houses for each different cast party to get Godfather's Pizza and then play Rock Band on like the full array of Rock Band shit, like
Oh,
2
I
guitars, a
wish.
mic,
I wish.
drum
Nice.
set, like
Just
Yeah.
keyboard,
have these
everything.
poor
in
IHOP
in college.
employees.
There was a group of like upperclassmen that all had there's like the upperclassmen dorms, which were really just like apartments. Like there was apartments with 2 people to each room. And so finales, we just go there and get shit-faced drunk. That's what it was in college. But not nearly as fun. It was oh no, I'm forgetting. We did get Sonic before, which
That's
is
a good one.
Sonic
That's- yeah.
outside of California.
That's one of the techies
Yeah,
got for us.
there's one.
When we were working tech.
There's one here.
backstage,
Yeah,
Sonic
we've got him
runs.
too.
We
Yeah.
just opened our first one. Like it feels like it was like a couple years ago. It was probably longer than that. Now.
Love Sonic. Absolutely
Sonic,
love it.
Sonic always makes me sick.
No.
I mean, me too, but I still eat it.
Well, but there
Me with
are
In-N-Out.
there are a very limited subsection of foods that do not make me sick, but it makes me more sick than other ones.
Lily, we're gonna figure you out. We're gonna get you some peace, beloved. I swear to God.
You know, I'd appreciate it. It's a
Lay you
lot.
to rest.
Living in my body and brain is sometimes an interesting adventure.
No,
Or always an
please,
interesting adventure, sometimes for the best, sometimes for the worst. Sometimes I'm fishtailing while driving, and that's a funny story. Other times I'm eating for the first time at 7 p.m.
Okay,
Okay.
I was
No,
gonna say
please.
that like speaking of like all the driving stuff, I remembered while y'all were talking. I don't think I've ever actually told this story on any stream before actually, but in fact, John, you might not even know this story because this was before you were like, and this was when you were like mostly just in writers' room stuff. But like the very first episode of Ramblemancy, like the very first one, it was our first actual like major stream on this channel. That whole day, everything was against us. Like the week leading up to it, like we did not have any way to light the room. Thanks to Freeman, and his investigation skills. Freeman is a real life Mason, in case you did not know. Freeman was able to get us like find somebody to like to like sell us some like studio lights. But on top of that, the day of, we don't where I am, we don't get snow. Or when we do, it's like not really snow. But that day, it snowed like a foot. And if you've ever lived somewhere where it doesn't snow and
There's
then
not a
it
plow in the
does
whole
snow,
state.
I mean, there is, but it takes a while to get them mobilized.
And like, oh, I have to remember how to do everything again. It's like we haven't seen.
And then on top of that, people assume that they can just like normal driving rules apply. So on top of that, you find tons of people just like to the side of the road. And me, like, I'm not like, I have grew up in Montana, and granted, like that was before like I could drive, but like there's a certain amount of that like rubs off on you when you're a kid, that you're like, okay, I understand theoretically how to drive in the snow. But the problem is my vehicle has very, very wide tires and is very front heavy. So so I'm in like fucking, I had to go, because back then Jess, who ran like our tech stuff, I had to drive completely across town to go pick up Jess so that he could run our stream. And then drive back, and it's mostly downhill from Jess's house to mine. Ooh. So we're driving so fucking slow, thinking that like the whole time, like Jess was totally fine. I'm like, we're gonna die. We are gonna die. Like, day one of the stream. Day one, the very first day. And so we're like, we get here, we finally get back, and I'm just like. And then fucking like we had no end of like tech issues leading all the way up to the thing. And at the end of it all, I knew I was gonna have to drive Jess home, and it was gonna be dark, and it would have cooled off. Things would have had a chance to freeze again, which was super fun. So anyway,
Oh my god.
but with
Yikes.
all that said, we definitely did have that stream of Ramblemancy. It did happen.
Hell yeah.
And here we are, almost 100 episodes later.
Wow.
Nice.
Look at us.
Here in Texas,
Legend
if there
shit.
is even like a whiff of ice on the road, everything shuts down.
Yes.
Everything
You
shuts
think
down.
the word snow here, and everybody loses their shit. Like,
Yeah, they're
No
like
one knows how to
stocking up
no
on
one knows how to
stuff.
drive on frozen roads.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, we live in Buffalo and people still do that.
Yeah.
And like people still can't drive. I think the scariest like snow driving I did when I did AmeriCorps in Washington, I wanted to drive out there. I wanted to drive cross country. So from New York to Washington State. And so our first stop was in Chicago. I did not plan this well. I like planned the route to take a week, but then my brother's friend tagged along. It's like, I need to be on a plane in like 5 days. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. So it was like 12-hour drives like every night. It was just
Ooh.
it was a lot. So yeah, from Buffalo to Chicago, that's 11 hours, 11 and a half hours. Driving through Indiana, like the snowstorm hit.
Oof.
Like it was like leaving. Buffalo didn't get it that bad. And as we're driving on the highway, there's literally like it's like a graveyard of semis. And Doug's just like, are we gonna be okay? Like, can anyone out here? Like, what is happening? And like cars, it was freaky. It was like post-apocalyptic. Like everyone just like abandoned their cars on the side of the highway.
When I was moving up to the Twin Cities this January, my brother and I moved from southern Iowa. I moved to southern Minnesota. He moved to another part of Iowa. We had to like finish emptying our apartment in just like pissing rain in like late January. And so we finished doing that, and then like my dad climbs in his car, I climb in my car, and we start driving up. But about the time that we get like just coming up on the Minnesota border, the temperature starts dropping because it gets to be later in the day. And so the rain becomes sleet, becomes freezing rain. And there was this whole just like 30-mile stretch where we're driving along the interstate at like 30 miles an hour, and just like every quarter mile, every half mile, there are cars just nose first in the ditch, in the median. Like it was harrowing, just the most white knuckle driving I have ever done. And that includes the time I hit like a 2-foot snowdrift on the road, driving home from the hospital.
I think the craziest, you said freezing rain. I remember I was at university studying late, and I had heard there was going to be a freezing rainstorm. I didn't really think anything. I was like, Buffalo, whatever she's up to. For example, 2 days ago, it was 80 degrees. I was sweating so much. And today it snowed this morning. So like, I don't know what Buffalo's up to. It's 40 degrees right now.
Ma'am, ma'am, as in Buffalo. It's late May.
Oh, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. It snowed in June before. It snowed on my birthday. I'm born on June. Yeah, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
What does that mean?
Nothing.
Whatsoever.
That is a threat.
It sounded like a threat. No, but I get out of the library. The cars are coated in ice. I had to go to the hot water station, and like I got my driver's door open, and then I got the ice, the scraper. I had to smack my car to get it free. It wasn't good. It wasn't. I had to sit there and let it. It was like an inch thick of ice, like sheets of ice.
When it came to choosing colleges, I had the option of University of Texas at Dallas or Rochester Institute of Technology, right?
Oh, you would have been so close to me.
The ultimate reason I chose was money, because I could either go to Rochester and graduate with debt, or go to UTB and graduate with no debt.
Yeah, no,
debt.
that's totally
Yeah.
valid. RIT is so
also less
expensive.
moving. I'm thinking it's probably also a good choice, but I think I would have died in Rochester in
Yeah,
terms of
probably.
like, because I grew up and
Just
lived
straight
in
up died.
in
Just died.
Houston, which
Yeah.
Houston is the sweaty armpit of Texas. Like, it's just humid and awful and horrible here.
See,
I know someone.
Buffalo has that flavor too. It's humid here. It's cold and humid. For who? For why?
I'll take that over warm and humid, honestly, any day.
I knew
I don't
someone.
know.
I knew someone who went to Rochester. I guess
Did they die?
I still know. No, I still know her. I just don't like her
They
anymore.
lived.
She died.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
My friend's ex-girlfriend.
She's
that was
dead. Tell the story.
that was
Lily.
messy. She described winter in Rochester as just the worst thing ever. The way she made it sound was like she was in the Arctic Circle.
Rochester,
Okay, but-
New York, or Minnesota?
I mean,
New
either
York.
way.
New York. Okay. I mean, yes, either way, but
Either way,
Having-
it doesn't matter. Oh my god, I went to visit a friend in Minneapolis, and I went in February, which was an absolute
oh, I'm
mistake.
so sorry.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so cold.
Come
Oh
here
my
in, like,
god.
Come here and like
Which, like, I guess, like, Buffalo gets really. I feel like lately it hasn't been super cold, but like I remember growing up and it was like regularly like in the negatives
Mhm.
for like from December to like January, February, like freezing temperatures.
Yeah. Questionable choices for visiting places. Minnesota in December, Florida in August. That's one I did. That's really fun. That's really
I've
fun.
done that
Don't-
before.
Don't do that.
I lived
Oh.
through a Orlando summer.
That's specifically where I was. Yeah, it's not great. I'm so sorry.
Okay, but see, I'm gonna say something
You are
controversial, but I'm gonna
stronger
speak my
than
truth.
anyone.
Okay.
Speak your
Um,
truth. Keep it feral.
I hate dry heat and I love humidity.
Ooh, nope.
Ooh,
Nope.
wow, that's
Okay.
a hot take. That's
Mm-mm.
spicy.
But here's the thing.
A hot but
Girls
dry
have-
take.
That's a humid take.
Yeah.
I grew up in California. I grew up in like Bay Area, like East Bay Area, spending all of my summers, not all of them, but most of my summers in the goddamn motherfucking valley. Okay, spending most of my summers near Bakersfield and Fresno, California. Hellholes, the cracks between Satan's toes. It's terrible. It's bone dry. You hear that? Bone dry. It's the summer heat gets to like 90 to 100, but it feels like when you first open your oven after it's like preheated to 350. It just sucks all of the moisture out of you. It's disgusting, and you can't sweat enough to cool yourself down because that sweat just evaporates. It's terrible. I hate
See,
it.
For me, I just don't enjoy the feeling of like needing to grow gills every time I walk outside. Like I don't know, I just don't enjoy that. I don't like the feeling of like stepping outside and
Dallas
feeling like I'm
is
walking
ideal
through.
weather for me. Dallas has humidity, but it's not too much. It doesn't have. It's not Houston. Houston, it's like I don't. It's a miracle if we see a day under like 60% humidity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Average is
Okay,
probably
see,
70 to
listen,
80.
quick pause. Central Valley in California is terrible. There is somebody who sees me. Thank you. Thank you, chat.
Yeah.
I like when I went to college in the Midwest, and I miss all of the seasons except summer can go fucking die in a hole. Like I hated the Midwest
Fuck Winter
summer.
better. Winter beats summer.
I prefer
I
the
hate
winter because
summer.
the winter was definitely dry. Like it was dry. It was cold.
You
It was
can
cold as fuck, but it was dry. You just layer up and you're good to go. Layer up in hot buildings. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
here's my case for winter over summer. You can always put on more clothes.
Yeah.
You can only get so nude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I
I
just
know
looked
that's
this up
right.
because I wanted to know how humid it is right now. So it is 44 degrees and 83% humidity.
I'm out.
Nope.
I'm out.
Handbrake
Impressive.
turn off a cliff.
Put
Like,
me in, coach. Put me in.
Handbrake
sorry.
turn
I'm
off a
sorry.
cliff.
Currently, this is at 10 o'clock at night. We're looking at 77 degrees. 82% humidity.
No.
That's like average here. 77 is good for us. Looking at
Buffalo is
Monday,
just like so wet.
Monday we're looking at 84 with 66% humidity.
See,
it was 44 today. It's gonna be 61 tomorrow. Who is she?
She's mysterious.
Edgeofit, I have to agree with you. I love actually having seasons. Unfortunately, where I live,
Same.
that doesn't happen. We have one season, and it's the one where it's just kind of gray, where it's kind of none of them.
Oh, but I love that.
I also do kind of have learned to appreciate it because there was a time where it pissed me off, but now I've learned to appreciate it. But I also miss an actual fall, like real fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dallas,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed staying in Dallas because you get the actual fall where it's like that nice temperature and the leaves fucking change colors. Houston, it's all like evergreens, or it's like, all right, it's green. Okay, tomorrow, brown. It's all dead.
Yeah, California, I could walk out of my house like around Christmas and it would be like 70 degrees. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed having
a tree right outside my window in my
That's like the perfect temperature too.
Colors. It was great.
My favorite part of fall is not the season itself, but the seasonal things that come with it. Like apple cider donuts, you know. Yeah, I'm not big on the spooky month. I'm more on the like harvesty, like the apple cider donuts, the pumpkin aesthetic, pumpkin spice things, pumpkin pie. That is my favorite part of fall.
I also love all of that, but there's something that just like should not be pumpkin spice, like pumpkin spice Cheerios. What are we doing?
Listen,
okay, you're right.
This is pumpkin bread. I will devour an entire loaf in a day.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Especially put that shit in a toaster. Put that shit in a toaster. Some butter on it. Oh, incredible.
Listen, what I do, I wrap it up nice and like in some like nice tinfoil. I put it in the fridge, and then it's like nice and like it's like cool and moist. It's great.
Yeah.
I do have to say that fall here is just rainy, but I want to go to Maine for fall.
Everybody on the West Coast talks about like going to, or East Coast talks about going to Maine for fall. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's find a trip.
For real?
Yeah. The fuck I look like?
I'm so happy. I'm in. Sign me up.
That area.
Sign me up. Oh my god. Listen, it doesn't take much to make me happy. I just want to meet my friends.
Oh my god, your tiny little self. I'll finally meet one of my stream buddies and be taller than them.
Listen, just because I'm not 5 foot. I have tall people.
I was gonna say, do we? Okay, really quick, because it got brought up earlier. Lily was saying something about you're like being in my body and having my mind, and I instantly thought of the joke that we told off air last week about
what was that? I tell a lot of jokes off air, like the amount of things that are said in that brief period of time.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm never gonna forgive Draku ever. I'm never gonna forgive Draku for that one.
The one that everyone heard when you came back.
Oh no.
Oh my god, this was the funniest thing ever.
Oh my god.
Are we sharing?
Wait, sorry, my head.
Who's telling the story? I can tell it.
Yes, you should tell it.
My headphone wholeheartedly died. I did not hear.
Oh no. Okay. So it was the moment. Yeah, it was the moment when we were talking about Lady Dimitrescu or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and we couldn't say her name.
At one point, Draku types in chat, Lady Dump Truck. And we all laugh about it. Liv is out of the room, I think, and then comes back and reads, "Oh my god, Lady Dump Truck." But Cole had just
No. That's not what it is.
I think
that's
okay.
It was that Colin was like trying to say. No, Colin was trying to say her name.
Someone said, "Oh, her name's pronounced weird." Most people say Dimitrescu.
Yeah, and then
so they're like, "Oh, it's pronounced weird." I'm like, "Oh, it's pronounced Domitrescu."
Yeah, and I'm sitting here, like putting on my lip gloss, completely like half listening, putting on my lip gloss, and I look over and I'm like, "Lady Dump Truck."
Because I think this was during the brief time where we have the trailer playing. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
It was
right.
during
But
the charity
was-
times.
Oh my god.
And then she says,
Why didn't
I'm
I clip that? Oh, I'm an idiot.
sorry.
That was
I'm not, but the thing is like what Draku said was so much worse. Anyway, I was gonna say, since this is Ramblemancy, should we reveal any into deep secrets like rock bottom or anything like
I think we just have the spoiler ban on the previous episode and everything before that.
yeah.
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 Rock bottom has absolutely nothing to do with Anar, even though she is a rock, and
Yeah.
I don't think would be a bottom. We can fight about that later.
Yeah.
Don't
I mean, no, hold on. In the end, that's fully your character.
They're being perceived.
There's this thing of like, I don't believe that Anar has bottom energy, but she does have stud energy. And there's a correlation in the sapphic community.
This is a switch then, probably, yeah?
But rock bottom is what I call my my drink. So Draku once made a Kula Kahlua, which is a drink in honor of Kula, made with Kahlua. And I made the joke that my go-to drink is 50-cent seltzer and $7 rum. because my bank account has hit rock bottom, and that's what it's actually about.
Yeah.
amazing.
And so I just
Amazing.
completely made that joke
Why?
live on stream.
Yeah, and
And I'm sorry
then it
for
calls
that.
Anar rock bottom. And,
Yeah.
and people are like, what?
Yeah. Look,
my argument is why spend $10 on 6 White Claws when I can get the supplies to make as many drinks as I can burn through.
Very true.
I often say this, and it may not be the best streaming mentality. My jokes are for me. If other people laugh, that's a bonus.
So it's a good mentality anywhere, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, okay,
horrible
fair
little
enough.
man.
Horrible. Everyone's
little
favorite
man.
horrible little
Good
man.
one.
Never, ever,
Oh
ever
my
gonna be over that.
Oh my god. That's incredible.
I think that's like something I really love about In Too Deep is like I feel like when there's serious moments, like they're really good, and then like it really is just chaos.
Yeah. It's the hard cut between Anar
Like,
and Gehenna arguing about who would win in a fight,
so,
I love
to
that.
that beautiful scene between Toko and Shahar, back to me yelling at Liv,
Let's
going
say that
underground,
this-
that kick your, you know.
this phone cord, this headphone
It's so
cord
good.
is the plot of In Too Deep, right? You have the one moment right here that's like really solid, and the rest of it is just fucking this. Like,
Yeah.
The
like
amount of time that we spend per episode being like, so what are we fucking doing?
You look at me,
So,
I'm
like,
like,
you
I don't know,
picked-
what are you doing? I've provided
This
plot
is
hooks.
the funny thing though. You picked a bunch of queers to have a plan. This is like
Yeah.
a political intrigue. I'm a simple gay in these trying times. I don't have a plan. I can't do math.
Oh my god.
I am
I am a
I have-
simple gay in these
Trying
trying
times. It's good.
I'm
Doing my best.
What are you doing?
It's
My
not very
best.
good. It's not good, but it's what I got.
It's what I got.
I just make it. Another problem is I just say the things that come into my head, and usually they're jokes because I have trouble taking things seriously sometimes. And so that definitely contributes to most of the things I say on stream coming out as jokes
I
because
love Gehenna
I
so
have-
much.
yeah.
I mean, I think my
Oh
GM
my
style
God.
also enables it because I'm a very much a GM that I don't really say no to my players. It's like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
fuck it, whatever.
So
Fuck
Luke,
it.
when you signed off for this show, like as if there's a
Yes.
contract. Oh,
Yeah,
I-
the contract, huh?
Wait, you didn't sign a contract?
Lily,
Your agent
you're not,
and
you're not,
Untitled
you're
I
not,
thought-
Lily, we were supposed to keep this between us, okay? Like,
No.
we're supposed to keep that between us.
Oh no.
Lily's job is to specifically
Oh my
sabotage the
God.
show so it never stays on the rails for more than an hour.
Yeah. My
Oh
my
my
job
God.
is to just say things and hope they're quotable.
No, Liv, what were you saying?
Last episode was incredible.
I don't even remember what I was just making a joke of like, did you expect this? This mess?
You know what? The thing
I
is,
don't know what I expected.
I didn't in the sense that like I didn't know what to expect, like Colin said, because like I legitimately met Colin because of Into Deep happening. Like that's how like Cole introduced us, and so like I didn't know anything about like Colin's GMing style other than what he told me. I didn't know anything about any of you other than that like that one meeting that we had beforehand where like I just sort of jumped in and like introduced myself and like welcomed you in. But what I will say is that I knew from like that first meeting, I knew that all of you were gonna like have this like incredible chemistry, and that all of you were so like charismatic and just funny as hell. And so like that is kind of what I was expecting. Everything else didn't matter to me. I was like, if they want to be dramatic and like really feed into the narrative cinematic style, great. If they don't want to do that, I'm sure they'll do something excellent.
I mean, for peek behind the scene of how the show started, it was very much like I just decided one day, I'm like, I've been wanting to run and all. For reference, so I knew I was bi the whole time, but like I think I actively was like, I should probably like officially come out as bi on like Twitter or something before I start this show, where I'm like entirely LGBTQ plus cast and then just out myself like that.
Or I also love the
It was like 2
narrative.
months before the show that I did.
I love the narrative of like LGBTQIA ally Colin Kelly starts an all queer class.
Wait. You said all.
Wait, oh, yeah.
You just got your like people in the audience just going like with their fucking cork boards like, wait a minute,
Colin-
he said all.
Colin puts the all in ally.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh
No. Yeah. And then it was basically like my brain was like, I want to do a full all queer show. I also want to run Dragon Heist.
Yep.
Put them
It's
together.
perfect. Be gay, do heist.
And then I knew some
Gay do
people,
heist.
and then I just kind of like reached out and I was like, hey Cole, do you know anyone who like is looking for a show?
We see the thing is we weren't. We just had no clue how burned out we were, so it worked out in your favor.
Yeah.
If we had any idea about how actually burned out we were at the time,
Oh.
we were so
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
I remember like we walked away from the meeting with you, Colin, and I think you had said something during it to like, wow, you guys are like really professional and stuff. And like after you had left, we were like,
No, because the thing is, it was who was it? It was
we
like
got him, poor son of a bitch.
it was the three of us. It was the three of us, John Freeman and I, and Caitlin, because Caitlin had to be there to plan out like writers' room stuff, and also like any potential like helping us figure out like what we needed to actually like get, and so it was the four of us, and we just like went through all of these different things, like, okay, we need to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. We came up with like a whole list of things we needed to do to get ready for production. And then Colin made that comment, and we're just like, who's he talking to? Who's he talking
Excuse me,
about?
I need an adult.
It was very much for some reason it like, even though I should have expected it, it became a much more involved process for me, which I was happy about. It was just like it became much more involved for me. Like, man, I wasn't expecting this to be this much involved. And then I looked at it, like, what the fuck was I expecting? And like,
Well, the funniest part about it though is that by the time y'all came along, we had already launched 3 other actual plays last year in 2020 we launched 3 actual plays. So we had some like background in it at this point, and so we're just like going through the motions because here we are all practically or fully burned out from the year, and we're just like going through the motions like by rote, and then you called attention to the fact that like, hey, you guys know what you're doing, and I'm like, yeah, I guess we do know what we're doing. We don't, but you know.
Hey, no, you're fantastic.
Legends, all of you.
It was just such a funny like juxtaposition because like this whole time we're just fucking floundering around trying to get things happening, and then Colin's like, wow, you guys you guys really were pretty efficient about this, and it's like, yeah, I guess we are.
And also you having some.
Very good.
No, I had to like give notes on my first overlay today, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this shit. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's me with art that I commission. There's so many times where I'm like, they're like, oh, any feedback on the art? And me not being an artist and being god awful at art, I'm just like, looks fucking awesome. Art, it's art of my character. I love it.
I get like, yes, that, but also I get like what you calls it, like server anxiety. I don't know how to describe it. Like,
I know what you mean.
I don't send food back. I'll deal with it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if there's like an imperfection in my art, that's fine. It's fine. You know, artistic like license. Like
Unless I physically cannot eat something, I'll deal with it and probably not eat it, but I won't send it back.
I saw like
I'll
a
eat
fucking
it.
tweet. I forgot what the tweet was, but it was
I'll try.
it was something saying along the lines of like involving like something involving like a partner. And someone is like, well, someone's gotta tell the server to send the food back because I'm not gonna. I relate that so much.
Listen though, like that's specifically like as like as a stream producer, like that is like logistics is sort of the thing that I handle when it comes to like making the streams. That is the thing that I handle, and I had enough like experiences by about mid 2020 with like art and stuff like that, and feeling like not that it was bad or anything like that. It's just like it like with overlays and things like that that just weren't doing what I needed them to do because I hadn't sent back the feedback that needed to be sent back because I was just like, okay, no, it's fine. I feel like I've sent this back too many times already, and like now I'm to the point where like now I still feel bad about it, but I also have no hesitation about just being like, no, can we have more of this? Can we have more of that? And so like that's one way that I feel like this whole thing has like changed me, where I'm like, I know what it needs to do. I know what it needs for me to do, and I'm trying to make my life down the road easier.
That's true.
Yeah. But
I think from like designing overlays, and you know, I've done that for a couple years now. You just kind of get the hang of like, okay, you don't want it to be too busy. You want it to look pretty, and you need to have all of this information on there. And like, I feel like I've gotten really good at like organizing all that.
Cole designs dope overlays.
Yeah, that's true.
They do.
They're really, really cool.
They're awesome.
Mission Cole.
Please.
You will
Maybe
not be
right now.
disappointed.
I gotta finish up. I'm
They're
working
dope.
on my cousin's wedding is coming up, and she wanted to commission this watercolor artist. She wants to basically have the drink menu like drawn, so it's like all the drinks with like all these little anime little figures. Like one of them has the like Kodama from Princess Mononoke, and then another one's gonna have one winged dude from Final Fantasy.
Yes.
There's other characters that I don't know because I don't watch anime, but they're really cute.
That's such a juxtaposition though to have Sephiroth and what range?
Yes.
What range? That's cute. They're having like a little drink menu.
Well,
I don't
did
want to
make
talk
the
about
overlay
weddings. I talk
from-
about weddings all the time.
Is it from dusk till dark? Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dark.
Okay.
Speaking of From Dusk Till Dark, we have the overlay artist here, And in the next Into Deep episode, who are we gonna have?
Something. It's possible.
Someone.
Oh wait, have you not announced it yet?
I don't think we have. I don't think there's been an official announcement about it yet.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Tune in to Into
That's
Deep
it.
2 weeks from
You know
now.
what, though?
You wanna drop it now?
To
I
see
didn't-
something.
If you
The
want to,
amount
go
of
for it.
times that I've unofficially dropped something, but I didn't say a
Honestly.
name. I didn't say a name.
It would be very us to just drop it now.
Though I mean,
We're having-
go for it if you do. 'Cause, like
Yeah.
the next time that y'all are gonna be around, like it's just gonna be
Literally
there.
next
So
episode. I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. The cast can see it coming from a mile away. Because I'm like, oh, you'll find out who that figure is in the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, who is it?
Who you're gonna kill in
wait,
the next episode.
But
Duh.
I was talking to them about art stuff, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, we're like totally in your apartment. In your apartment, we are ready to throw hands."
They messaged me, be like, hey, they like added me, be like, can I be level 7 so I can beat them up? And I'm like, oh my god.
No, no, they can't.
If I didn't kind of catch on, there would have been literally a knife in the
I
air
was
on the way to them when the
trying
fucking episode cut.
So hard to get you all not to just kill them.
Yeah.
so
No, I mean, come on, please. I'm gonna kill them on camera.
so
I'm gonna kill them.
Fair.
Colin,
Yeah.
if you want, you can. I will pass the floor to you to make this announcement if you want. Since
Okay.
there's honestly no better time to do it since like
Well,
yeah.
story time. So, because I'm not going to just announce
I
it. have
never
to have a
thought this
story.
would
Most-
happen to me.
The
So,
most into deep way to start that fucking
Basically.
thing.
Yeah.
Fully, I have an announcement that's beginning with story time.
so I see this particular person's message on Twitter saying, hey, I just got into Tabletop RPGs. I'm looking to guest on more shows. Hit me up. And I'm like, this was, I think, the day after I got my COVID vaccine, I think. And so I was dead, but I had enough brain power for this for some reason. And I was like, shoot my shot, send an email, hit enter, and I was like, I'm probably never going to hear back from that. The next day, I hear back from this person being like, I'd love to. And I'm like, I took a day to respond because I was processing it. And I'm like, huh? Like, this worked. So in the next episode, we'll begin the guest appearance of Mermaid Royal, aka Jude, on the show. Our first guest appearance.
Yay!
The reason we brought it, they were on from Dusk Till Dark as well, with Drac and Van and the others who I forget.
J-Rock and Misha. J-Rock and Misha. Can you tell that I follow the show closely? Can you tell that I'm trying to be on it? Although,
At least you're honest.
how funny would it be if I do end up actually getting to be on the show after I kill Jude's character?
That would
Oh,
be fucking
delicious.
No,
It's
what you got to
happening.
do,
We're manifesting beloveds.
what you have to do
hilarious. They
is-
kill your character then.
no, you have to go on this show with a character as close to Jude's Into Deep character as possible.
I'm crying.
Just
I
like
actually-
the only difference being like a like fake mustache or something. Like
Some very big, like, wood frame
Yeah.
glasses.
yeah, just like an obvious like
Very
Oh
obvious,
my
yeah.
god, that would be so funny.
That'd be really funny.
But yeah, Cole figured it out like
He's
literally
so
like
mean.
right when I mentioned the hair color of the little like token.
I was private messaging Colin. I was like, I know who it is. I know
I'm
who
like,
it is.
yeah, like the second I said that, I'm like, oh, Cole's gonna figure out who it is just based off that because of the art description.
Because I am drawing the art, which I finished today.
Hey, nice.
Whoop. And up next is another guest.
Disgusting.
Drac in chat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Probably.
Nope. Drac, I love you.
I was gonna say friend of the show, but I think because we have Lib, enemy of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, he says.
I appreciate that the chain of events here was I look down at Cole as Cole says, Drac, I love you. And then I glance up at Liv, who just goes, and looks at the camera and picks up a drink and takes a drink. Just picture perfect.
Don't tell Liv shit. Your secret is safe with me.
Wow.
Secret's gonna be buried 6 feet under. That's
I would make
crazy.
some sort of like official announcement about that. Be like, hey, I'm
So not a shallow grave.
7, so they can't find him.
Oh my
Damn,
god.
whole extra foot. Shit.
Dark.
This just took a turn.
Wow.
Mold Earth cantrip is real useful, y'all.
yup.
So no, why do
Don't
Earth Genasi not
Genasi
get
have-
that? Thank you. Oh my god. Same
brain.
wavelength.
Genasi are some of the most flavor-wise tend to be coming to the like. I love visual aesthetics. Love it. I love
They're
Genasi.
so sexy.
But flavor and their abilities is just like so lacking.
They're such a just
Just so
weird
lacking.
hodgepodge of
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't know why like D&D is so afraid of player
Are we getting into the
characters.
part of Ramblemancy where we start rewriting Forgotten
We
Realms? Is it
literally
happening?
cannot do that right now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
We're close to end.
We
We
really
have
want
to.
to
We're close
end
to the end.
soon.
Yeah.
Pull it together, beloveds. All I'm gonna say is that Genasi get brought into the collection of ancestries that queer people love. We can all
Yeah,
agree,
they're
right?
super sexy.
Tieflings, drow, any of the Von Richten's ones now.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Fearbog
All
are
right.
in there,
The Von Richtens.
I want their
Fearbolg.
gender.
Fearbolgs.
Fearbog.
Fearbolgs.
I'm playing one.
All the not human races, you can say it.
No, that's not true because I don't.
Not true.
'Cause-
Hobgoblins
Not
are straight
dwarves.
culture.
Not dwarves. Dwarves are straight. They're straight culture to an extent.
Wow.
like-
This is what I mean by I don't
IL.
think before I say things.
No, I'm just crying because I love him dearly. He's
Oh,
truly an
Also
ally, but
goblins in queer culture, just goblins in gen.
yeah,
Goblins.
I love him dearly. I really do. He's an incredible person.
Monty.
The best like cishet white man I know. But in Parliament of Owls, Tim, who is cishet,
Hobgoblin.
plays a hobgoblin.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
really set
Yep.
me.
The person I was thinking of when I said that is very much I have a very similar relationship with him. I love him to death. He loves hobgoblins.
Loves.
He-
What is
yeah.
it with straight men playing ugly creatures? Do you think they're trying to deal
It's-
with something on the
for-
inside?
For him, it's his inner history major, and the hobgoblins are very like Roman in their
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also a player in that Monster of the Week game I was talking about where I almost died.
Drac, you love Yuan-Ti because something about their cold-hearted, snaky, slithery
Yeah.
bullshit you vibe with.
I knew you were going to call him a snake once you said that. It was just we're witnessing just repeated murder on this show.
Drink for Liv roasting Drac.
No, I'm sorry, Ray.
Please drink responsibly. I don't want any of you to die.
Nice.
God.
All right. Well,
Ooh.
I promised Colin that we would do everything in our power to end on time. So damn it, we're doing that.
This is also my formal apology. Drac and I are friends. All jokes aside, we are friends.
The record will stand.
He has access.
Drac does have
Could do it.
Oh no.
Drac could just walk in here.
Well, we're ending the stream now. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Go.
No,
All right.
Would that not be a hilarious note to end on?
Oh
we're
my
gonna go.
Get in here.
Um,
I mean, don't do that.
thank you all so much for joining us on this what did I call it? RambleDeep MancyHeist. It was great to have all of you. It was as chaotic and unstructured as I expected. So thank you all for coming and contributing to that. We are going, as I said at the beginning, we are going to be back here tonight, John Freeman and I, and guest Bree Donan to continue our Borderlands stream tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll be back to do that. And just to remind everybody, as we said it a couple times already, but I'm going to say it again, there is no Into Deep this coming Tuesday. That's June 1st. There will be no Into Deep because Colin...
And the audacity.
Because of Colin.
Audacity.
I legitimately tried to be like, all right, is there like a... would I be able to definitely have a solid streaming environment here? And then my friend was like, probably not. I'm like,
yeah. No, I'm mostly calling you out here because I wanted to be clear that like when I've made this announcement on streams where you were not present, I wasn't just sort of like throwing shade because you weren't there. So just to balance it out, I have to also throw shade when you are here. So
Yes.
So
the honorable thing.
Yes, of course. I'll do it to his face. But anyway, that's pretty much like what we've got for announcements right now. Any of you got stuff coming up that you want to talk about? Thank you, Freeman, for reminding me. Thank you.
Don't.
Anybody have anything they'd like to announce while you're here?
Draku might be streaming later. The reason I'm leaving after this is we're going to finish the Baltic class raid in Destiny, which we have been like over the course of like 3 days this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's gonna be streaming it. She might.
Okay.
Then I'll be on that. So
I was that is actually specifically what Freeman was reminding me about, because usually when we're on Ramblemancy, Draku is also streaming, and we're like, it would be the worst of terrible gaffes if we have some of the Into Deep crew on and we don't raid Draku, but I don't think she's streaming right now, so
I was gonna say I don't see
her.
She usually
I just
is,
checked, she's
but
not on right
yeah,
now.
so
Final note, be gay do heist from Amethyst Cat.
Yes.
I think that's a fair...
We finally stole Ramblemancy, and we might just steal it again.
Or will it be the other half of the crew? Who knows? Ooh.
Who knows? But yeah, I think Be Gay Do Heist is a solid note to end on. So
it's in time for Pride.
Yes. Yeah. So
kind of a heart. It's like a lima bean.
No, you put your thumb.
I had some lima beans today. Pretty good.
All right, we're gonna go. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you hopefully tomorrow for the Borderlands stream, but if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everyone.
I'm trying to